Hey, what's going on, Coach? Thanks for the time as always. Congrats on the win tonight, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me.
So you schedule this non-conference schedule like you have to do, right? You know what's going to be waiting for you in AAC play. It's a top 5 toughest schedule in America. If I tell you in October you're going to be 10-3 when it's all said and done, what are you going to say?
I'll say I'll take it. I mean, you don't get a break. I mean, I guess what a lot of people don't understand about this schedule is just it's so grueling. It's like I played in the NBA when you had to have 4 games in 5 nights. It was like 4 games in 5 nights. Take off 3 days and have 4 games in 5 nights again because every game from Ohio to La Tech to San Francisco to UNLV, even Arkansas State beat us. All these games, you got to really lock in and play a tough game every single night. And obviously, we have to have it that way because no one respects the AAC, and we haven't done a great job in our non-conference scheduling across the board. But it's grueling, man. I was saying 10-3, I would have been ecstatic because going 11-2 last year, I think we superseded that this year with the teams that we played.
Yeah, coach. I mean, from a player's standpoint, how much did you stress how important it was to get off to the start you guys have this season? That your season would be defined by November and December in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I expressed that a lot. I think a lot of the guys on this team obviously haven't won. There's only been 2 players that have won on this team, and that's Dane Danger and Tyrese Hunter. That experienced Sweet 16s. Dane Danger was at Baylor when they won a national championship, and obviously he's been to Elite Eights and Sweet 16s at Illinois, so he understands how it goes. No one else does. I don't know. Obviously, Coach Davis knows, Mike Davis and Nolan Smith know. But as far as the team, from June until now, it was always our season is November and December. Not that we're disrespecting the conference, but as far as the seeding part of what we wanted.
Coach, you got 13 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks from Musa Cisse tonight. I know you've now recruited him twice, one of the rare players that you recruit twice to bring to the program. And I made the argument earlier. I think this was the best game that he's played at Memphis. How do you get this performance out of him moving forward?
Well, I've been working with he and Dane a lot. Like I've been personally, the time that we've had in practice and we split ends, I'm probably spending 45 minutes a day with just those two. I've kind of neglected the guards and allowed Jermaine Johnson and Nolan Smith to go with the guards, so they work those guys out. But I only have Musa and Dane myself, and I purposely gotten them to just be way better at things that we're gonna need them to be better at, and it showed today. Obviously, he didn't need extra motivation against Ole Miss, but the things that he's doing, even the Ole Miss coaches were like, "What have you done with him?" And it's basically just giving him confidence. But I'm in the gym during practice hours and after practice, just putting the hours in with him and Dane, and it pays off. And that's definitely his best game in the Memphis uniform.
Penny, obviously, I cover you in Memphis and have covered you since you got the job. So I know that you have a certain type of expectations, right? I mean, you recruit a certain type of player that you feel like I shouldn't have to like babysit you. This is a professional environment. Like you should know what your expectations are. But you talked about, before this one, after the Mississippi State loss, that maybe you had to like get out of character a little bit this week. I'm just wondering like what that looks like, and then is it something that you can just keep doing, as you get into conference play, man?
I think obviously we had the debacle like I described last year with winning all these games non-conference and then going into a lull in the conference. So when we lost Auburn, that was the third day in a row fatigue. Coming back against Arkansas State, that was just a lack of respect. And Arkansas State spanked as much respect to them. But I knew the guys were tired because when we got back from Virginia, we got in at like 1:30 a.m. The guys probably got to sleep maybe 2:30 or 3. We had a team event at 11 o'clock at the Kroc Center. And after the Kroc Center event, we had about a 45-minute practice, and then they had an NIL event. So the next day at the FedEx Forum, we had a practice for about 2 hours. Probably one of our worst practices. The guys they didn't look the same, and I'm not really registering because I'm thinking we got Mississippi State coming. We have to win this game. And then because the practice was so bad, we woke up at 7 a.m., 6 o'clock a.m. the next morning of the early game, and we did a walkthrough in the forum, and I think that was a lot. And then we get this huge crowd, and Mississippi State is coming in like, all right, they took us out of the top 25 for you guys, and they were like way, way more energy. So in that game, it pissed me off because we just didn't fight. Even though we were tired, we didn't fight. So all week long, I was an asshole. I was. It didn't matter who it was. If you weren't doing it at a certain level, then I was, in your face, and it was ugly. And to answer your question about the conference, if it takes that again, it definitely will happen. The guys just have to understand that you just can't have a letdown, because our season, it are those 13 games, and then you got to go in the conference and then start it all over again.
Coach, so much excitement and production from your newcomers, your portal guys. But Nick Jourdain, your returner, had 8 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists today, 3 blocks, sort of the epitome of a glue guy. What has he meant to your team coming back in year 2?
No, he's meant a lot. I think Nick kind of lost his way a little bit because he had an identity crisis. He wanted to shoot more threes, and he stopped being the utility guy. I had a great talk with him yesterday about coming into the game and being who I recruited him to be, and then not search out threes so much, but be that guy that could almost have a triple-double. And he came out in the game and did it. It wasn't hard for him to switch. He understood what I meant. And what he means to our team from last year to this year is he's the guy that can almost average a triple-double every night, because he's just so good at doing so much, guarding 1 through 5, pushing the fast break, getting offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, and rim protecting as well. So I've challenged him in all those areas.
Coach, you guys have taken some criticism in recent years, partially from one of the members of this show. I think that you have an opportunity here to be able to quiet a lot of people and quiet a lot of doubters that have maybe had questions about your tenure at Memphis. How important is it to be able to put together the run that you need here in the AAC to get yourself in a position to make a run in March? Because I think you've done a lot of stuff at Memphis, right? The one thing you haven't done is get to that second weekend of the NCAA tournament. How do you get there this year?
Yeah, I think, me personally, I understand everybody has a job to do. And I didn't, John has every right to feel the way he feels because, he's a basketball guy. You guys understand the game. And I came in as a newbie, and I really thought it was going to be much easier than what it was, because I knew the game. I knew I was going to work. And my biggest problem was kind of the culture. My culture was never really good up until this year. And I failed at a lot of things, and it frustrated me because I thought that it was going to be better. And the criticism was warranted. All I did was just try to suck it up and go, okay, you know what you can do. I went out and got a staff that I was very comfortable with, and that allowed me to be me. And with them allowing me to be me and rallying around me, it's allowed me to not be as stressful and as stressed out while learning on the job. Because when you come into this business, if you hadn't been an assistant coach before, if you don't know what this is really like, I hired a lot of new guys. We were all just kind of looking at each other like, how are we going to fix this? And it just took experience and it took time. So this year, with having what happened to us last year, and having the staff fully behind me, then I feel like the guys are listening to me, and they don't have a soft landing. They don't have anyone to run to get that soft landing, and they have to really just come and talk to me. And the relationship that I have with all my guys now are so genuine because they have to come to me, because my coaches are going to go meet with coach, go talk to coach. And when I'm coaching, I'm allowed to coach and it not be frowned upon or anything like that. So for me now, I'm so much more comfortable in my 7th year that having that support and having all the guys at full attention gives me to be a better coach and to lead us into that second round of the NCAA tournament. And I have the team. If you got multiple guys that can get a basket, like Kobe Rogers, Tyrese Hunter, and PJ Haggerty, that gives you an advantage as well. And then if Musa and Dane continue to play the way that they play, and Nick is Nick, you only need a couple other guys to just add in there, man, and you can make a hell of a run. I mean, we've seen that over the years.
Yeah, I was going to say, Coach, that you said earlier you spend a lot of time with the big guys, right? Well, you don't really need to spend that much time with the guards when you got PJ Haggerty doing what he's doing, and you got Kobe Rogers shooting the way that he's been shooting, and Tyrese taking over games.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan and Jermaine do a great job, but you're right. I got those guys for that reason, because I knew that they were going to be able to dominate out there on the court. 2 of those guys are always going to be in a position to do something great. And if all 3 are on, then we're really hard to beat.